Very warm welcome. It's Jim from Restart. Guys, obviously things are happening over the weekend. I'm talking about Israel. We're looking at Benjamin Netanyahu, who is declaring war on the Palestinians. And I'm not going to take either side. Just like, I've decided not to take any sides in any conflict. We've got the Ukraine and Russia war going on, and NATO threatening if you touch one of our countries, we'll initiate Article 5. I really don't care anymore about any of this. I just think it's really sad, that the vulnerable and innocent get caught up in it on both sides. And should we feel sorry for Israel? I mean, they've put all them embargoes on Palestine. I know what you're thinking. Well, you've already took a side by even just saying that, but no, I'm just stating some facts. You know what? Right now, the media are pushing the narrative of innocent people being slaughtered and killed in Israel, and we've already seen the retaliation by Israel knocking down the Palestine building. And are we led to believe that there wasn't innocent people within that building when it was brought down into dust? Of course there were. This is an act of aggression against an act of aggression, and inevitably, guess who gets caught up in all these ideologies and, things? Innocent people, bystanders, me and you. And this platform promotes a certain side and point of view. That's what's called basically propaganda. And you know what they've done? This platform, if you don't believe me what I'm talking about, then just look down to the thumbs up and the thumbs down. You notice there's a figure with the thumbs up and there's not with the thumbs down. Do you know why they did that? Because when presidents were talking, people were thumbing them down and they didn't like it. So what they've said is, we'll only allow this platform, YouTube, will only allow a one-sided view. You can only like people and we'll let you know how many people like a certain thing. But when it comes down to not liking something, you're not going to be allowed that. And that shows you exactly what this platform is about. YouTube is a propaganda tool already in control by the governments of the world. And the simple fact we know that is because there's no thumbs down figure. We don't have to listen to what the videos that these mainstream media put out there. We just need to know that there is no figure for the thumbs down. So we will not know whether people dislike something. So there's your democracy that we live in right here and right now. And that's YouTube's stance right here and right now. They are afraid to publish the dislikes. Because, yes, we don't know whether this is a false flag. I could say this is fake news, what we're seeing right now. Everything we're seeing, because every video I've watched today about what happened Saturday in Israel, they've talked about innocent people being killed. And that's quite alarming, because over the past, Israel have attacked Palestine many times, and yet we've never heard the voices of those innocent on the other side. Not once. Just like we don't see figures at that thumbs down number. That's because we're in a war right now. Me and you are in a war right now with these psychopaths. And they're fucking psychopaths, guys. I absolutely want to get through to you that we are living with psychopaths controlling mainstream media, alternative platforms like this, to deliver a narrative, to get you to hate or love or, dislike or like a certain thing. Our minds are being targeted by this psychological warfare that is taking place right now. It's disgusting. I am absolutely disgusted. You know, I was talking to my dad, who's 75, and I don't know if we got in the conversation. I just said, you know what, if I've got an opportunity after my life to come back to this world, there is no way on this earth I would ever come back to it, because it's a disgusting, filthy, horrible place, and you have to just make the best of what you do, because we are here right now. It's horrible. It's absolutely a horrible world that we live in. People are horrible. You know, these elites are just milking the fact that we are all just wanting to just get by, and so long as we can do that in some form of fashion, and you know, we can't even hope for luxury anymore, can we? But so long as we can just get by a little bit, we'll be happy with that. Whilst them, on the other hand, are fucking killing people, you know, ordering people to their death, living the life of luxury, being transported round in private jets and helicopters, spending the weekends on luxury liners and cruise ships and yachts, you know, costing hundreds of millions of pounds. It's wrong. And that's why I would never ever come back to this world after this life. I won't give up my life. I would never ever dream of suicide. You know, what will be my end will be what God decides for me. But I would never come back to this world. It's a horrible place. It's a fucking hell on earth. There is nothing nice about today. Nothing at all. You know what I'd love to do? I'll be honest. I'd love to swan around today, do whatever the hell I wanted. You know, spend the weekend in Europe somewhere, enjoying, you know, the culture, the cuisines, this, that and the other. You know, we just don't get an opportunity anymore to do that, do we? It's like work, 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 boom, boom, bash, 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 beating us down, you know, speeding fines. Oh, who got hurt? Doesn't matter. You done 3 miles an hour over the speed limit. You broke the speed limit. You got to pay the fine. Who got hurt though? You know, what has happened to law? You know, I've broke the law. I've done 3 miles an hour over the speed limit. I've broken the law. Now I've got to pay. Who got hurt? Nobody. My car is more than capable of doing 3 miles an hour over the speed limit. The brakes on my car will stop in an instant, twice as fast as any other car. But, you know, you got over the 3 miles an hour over that speed limit, you've got to pay the fine. It's just a joke. You go driving into the cities in the UK, you have to pay congestion charges. What for? You got road tax on your car. But why have you got to pay to drive on a road in a particular area? Oh, it's because it's a stealth tax. Just like everything else. You know what? I could rip this government to their underwear. I really could. They spent billions of pounds on HS2. It's not even going to go to London Euston. It's a joke. London Euston is the main train station in London and the capital of the UK. And HS2 and all the money that is spent on it is not going to reach even London. It's a fucking shamble. It's a waste of money. It's caused misery for everybody else that live around the track. I have to, you know, to commute to my parents, I have to come across 2 times where they're building that rail. And it's traffic lights galore. You just sit there, you know, waiting to die, literally, in traffic, whilst the lights turn green eventually. It's a nose. And it's a waste of public payers' money. They said it would cost $2 billion to start with, and it's ran up to many more billions, just like everything else. And now, what is it? It's a fucking abandoned project. Yeah, it doesn't even get to London Euston, and they're cutting back on all the other platforms it was supposed to get to. It's a complete and utter con. It was just an excuse, and what people really need to understand, it was just an excuse for money to be laundered. That's exactly what it was. Public payers, taxpayers' purse to be stolen between the elite and the contractors. Yeah, make it look like it'll work. Doesn't matter, because by the time, the shit hits the fan, as they say, it'll be too late, and no one will be bothering about it. They're already on about it. The land that they purchased with the taxpayers' money to build that rail, they're already on about releasing it, and they haven't even finished the rail. It's going to turn into the biggest disaster. It's like the Queen Elizabeth aircraft carriers that had diesel engines in them to start with was a massive disaster. I know Europe probably, some people here are RAF and, Marines and whatever, and they absolutely love the Royal Navy. Fuck the Royal Navy. They've got no fucking clue what's going on. They built 2 aircraft carriers with diesel engines. As soon as them engines start up, China know, oh fucking hell, the Brits have started up the fucking aircraft carrier, Queen Elizabeth class. Here we go, we know exactly where to follow it. What a joke. And we know that the money that was invested in the aircraft carriers to start with, right, they were building 2. They built 2, one's already been benchmarked. Can you believe that? Can you believe one of them has already been benchmarked? And the other one is suffering catastrophes at sea already. It's almost not seaworthy. The one, and there's another project that said they was going to spend, $2 billion on it. What is it with that magic $2 billion? What does, I envision, that guy, when he says $2 billion, and he's got his little finger to his mouth while he says it. It's a joke. It's a fucking joke. It's getting fucking ridiculous. And people's lives in this joke are being lost. It's almost unreal. We're trapped in a mind game with these psychopaths that can't even allow the truth to be shown to the general public. And proof of that is, you just go down to the thumbs likes, you see 2.6 thousand have liked it. How many people haven't? 5,000? 10,000? Why are YouTube frightened to show the dislike button? I'll tell you why, because when it comes up to elections, and someone's running for elections, and there's lots of thumbs like, and there's lots of thumbs down, you know what, there's democracy. That was our opportunity to show democracy and freedom of speech, and, whether to like something or dislike it, and let other people share in that information. Well, YouTube took it away with us a long time ago. They're not just going after channels like mine and silencing my voice. They're also making sure that you can't even vote on a video that you like or dislike. You can only say you like it. Oh, for fuck's sake. Could you imagine living with a woman or a man that you could only please with no compromise? What life would that be like? That's the world that they are showing us clearly right now on a daily basis. They've never come out of their cells, out their shell, out their closet, more than they have today. What is going on in Israel right now? Should we feel sorry for them? Or have they not done the same to the Palestinians? So are they not as equally as bad as each other? There is a war going on also in Ukraine and Russia. Who's right there? I don't know. All I know is that innocent people, again, are fucking being killed. And I'm sick of seeing innocent people being killed for the will of just a small minority. Aren't you? Aren't you sick of seeing farmers that are being told they can't farm no more because of this new green policy? We've got to reach net zero. Aren't you sick of them blaming cows for producing methane and causing catastrophes with regards to climate? Aren't you sick of the fact that the likes of Bill Gates, who is still alive and kicking, can you believe that? You know, he calls himself a philanthropist these days. Aren't you sick and tired of people like him that have become very rich and then took it upon themselves to be acting like God, telling and dictating to us what we should be living like? Shouldn't he just fuck off and enjoy his money? Ignore the fucking what we want. We'll tell people what we want to do. You know, eventually we will get what we want. We don't need assholes like him telling us that now we need to eat, you know, grubs that have been ground down and maggots and larvae and things like that, ground down and flavoured to taste like a beef burger. We don't fucking, none of us want that shit. You know what? We've been on this planet 45,000 years, and what's taking place in the last 50 years is an abomination of humanity. You know, we are meat eaters, full stop. We need protein, full stop. And the only way we get protein is by eating other animals. Sad story? Yes. Get fucking real. That's what we are. Our eyes are in the front of our head. We're predators. Okay? You know, if our eyes were at the side of our head, we wouldn't be. We'd be chewing grass. You know, people just don't want to hear the truth, don't want to realise the truth, and don't want to act on the truth these days. And that's why we are in such a shitty fucking state right now. I apologise for swearing. I hope you was listening to this video whilst your children weren't in the room, and if they are in the room, please, you know, I do apologise. But, you know, you have to tell it the way it is. This is not fucking a good situation, what we're living in right now. You know, ordinarily, we would be focused on the magnetic North Pole and other geoanomalies, being a science-based, you know, platform like we are. But you can't help what else you see, because I'm just like you guys sometimes. You know, why can't I talk? You know, I'm just like you. You see the news, you see what's going on, and look at them, crying like fucking babies that elderly women have been kidnapped, women have been kidnapped, children have been kidnapped. Oh, fuck me, you drop bombs on the same in Palestine. And what happened to the secret services around the world? How come nobody saw this coordinated attack happening on such a grand scale, where 3,000 missiles were launched into Israel on Saturday and nobody knew what was fucking going on around the world, with all the money that is invested in the intelligence, the CIA, FBI, MI5, MI6, Mossad? None of them fucking knew this was going to happen. Oh my fucking god, what a waste of money. It was like the WHO that didn't fucking declare that the pandemic was a pandemic until fucking it was obvious to everybody it was a pandemic. It's a joke. That's where our money is going right now, on nothing but fucking shit. And guess what? We can't fucking go on holiday this year. We can't go to luxurious meals. We can't fucking do all these nice things that these people do every day on a daily basis, like they wake up out of bed, fall into a restaurant. We can't do things like that. You know, they wake up out of bed and fall onto a fucking laminated floor in a fucking £50 million yacht. We can't do these things. No, we're just the worker ants that are being now forced to work for as little as possible. And these fuckers can't get this through their heads. But technology is replacing jobs, yet they are still remaining on the monetary system because it serves them only. Yet it doesn't serve us. We're the ones that have been pushed back into the corner. And now what we've got to do? Take out a couple of our own ribs so that we can live just tomorrow. It's fucking gone beyond the past. These monsters would put Jesus Christ on the cross, not in a day, in a minute. That's what we're dealing with right now. We've got hell on earth right now. We are so far away from Elysium. It is beyond a joke. It is almost unseeable for most of us. And yet we are still, at this very moment, the majority. And they're pushing around the majority like it is the fun and games and that they can get away with it. But you know what? We are the 99%, and sooner or later that is going to snap. And what we're seeing right now, globally, is people being pushed to the limit. And when people lose everything, they eventually lose it. And that is what is going to happen at some point in the near distant future. I promise you that. We can see it coming. You know what? These next few months are going to be a test of time for people's patience. Because we've had enough. All of us have had enough. And we're sick and tired of platforms like YouTube putting no numbers next to the thumbs down, showing us that we do not live in an equal society or equal rights or equal democracy or even a sort of democracy where freedoms are allowed to be expressed, because when we don't see a number next to that thumbs down, there is no freedom of expression displayed right there and then. And who stops us? YouTube. Who stops YouTube? The government. The fucking government. Every single time. They are mass murderers. They are the terrorists. They are the worst of the worst of the worst. This is the unleash of demons on this earth. Trust me, I'm not saying that lightly, guys. These are wicked, corrupt individuals that are sending innocent people, your sons, your daughters, your grandchildren, to war, to fight for fucking bubbles. Thin air, nothing. And do you know what they'll do? Nothing when they're dead. It'll be you that has to sit there at the side of the coffin when it's being lowered into the ground or going through the crematorium whilst it's being cremated. It's you that has to burden the hardship of that. Not them. It's come at no cost to them whatsoever. They will not lose no sleep, they won't lose their appetite or nothing. They will keep swigging back that champagne, living that luxurious lifestyle, driving people to their death. And it is enough. For me, it's enough. I'm sick and tired of it. So, my standpoint on this, with regards to what has just happened over the weekend, is, you know what? You're both as bad as each other. Fucking sit down and work out your troubles without fucking involving innocent, elderly, women, children, men, sons, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, granddaughters and grandsons. Don't fucking involve them in one crossfire of a single bullet. You fucking sit down like intelligent, human, logical beings and you work out your fucking problems so that there is some common ground. Because resorting to this behaviour is just fucking barbaric. And it shows your level of advancement as a human being, as an intelligent species, when you continuously act like this. It's just fucking unacceptable anymore. Guys, we will get back to science tomorrow. There's a link down there if you want to help support us. Should I have any belief that someone will, in this day and age, support what we do and what we talk about? I don't know. Links down there in any case. And also what I usually do, you know what? Look after your loved ones. More so now than ever. So I usually do. Bye for now.